Hey guys, it's the third time is the charm, I believe. At the beginning of this trial, my beverage was still full, and now we're about halfway into it. And now it's 6:05, and we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Chris Doe. Thanks for being patient with us and sticking around. This week, we're going to get into a live portfolio review, and we're going to go for about an hour. And since we kind of screwed up a little bit, I might go for a little bit longer. Joining me this week is Mr. Ben Burns and Matthew Encina. Hey, say hello to the people.
What's up, everybody?
All right, hopefully that's working. And
for the third time.
For the third time. It's like, you're getting tired of this, right? So if you want to follow Matthew, his handle is at Matthew Encina, and it's same as his name, super easy. I'm at the Chris Doe on Twitter, and that's Mr. Ben Burns. And Mr. Ben Burns on Twitter has an underscore at the end. Don't forget that part. But the best way around that is just to follow all of us, and then that way, you can just type a little bit of it and you'll be able to find us. And the person you really want to talk to is Ben, because he's the one who's managing all this stuff, right? You got to get cozy up with Ben. All right, let's get going. Are you guys ready to get started? That's when you guys say yes.
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 We're
Or are we back?
We're back.
Well, that was a really fast show open. Woo! What the heck? You guys, I didn't know the show open was that fast. I was like, I'm going to have a coffee or something. All right, anyways, a lot of you guys that are watching us on YouTube don't know that there's a Facebook page, and it's really important that you guys go check that out, because that's when we're posting events and giving out little bits of information and doing screen captures of the decks that we're presenting. YouTube doesn't make that easy. So if you guys follow us on Facebook at The Future Is Here, you're going to get informed about all that's going on here. Next up, and this is what it looks like anyways, we're up to 12,000 likes on our page. So we're doing really great there, and thanks for already tuning in to that. Next up is, we already mentioned Twitter, at The Future Is Here. That's how you guys can talk to us. And this week, the way we're able to talk to you is there was a hashtag. It's the Future Portfolio Review. Hashtag Future Portfolio Review. And we have a lot of work to look at, so we're going to try to do this lightning round. Hopefully we've learned from how we've done this in the past, and we can move through this really fast, okay? So let's go to Twitter right now. Let me switch apps and take a look.
While you're doing that, I just want to give a little shout out to London and Montreal tuning in here, all the way on the other side of the world.
That's awesome.
Montreal.
Yeah,
London,
Montreal
across the pond.
and
All right.
London, yeah.
So here's how we do it. I'm on Twitter right now. Can you guys see my screen? Let me open that up a little bit. All right. So first we're going to start off with Early Bird Gets the Worm. We're going to start off with Gianluca Santoro. And hopefully I said that right. So let's get looking at his work. So he's from Rome, Italy. I would have guessed. He's Italian with a name like that. And I see 3 projects here. Now, I'm going to talk about this and do this a way a normal client or somebody who's going to hire you. I'm going to start with the thing that catches my eye. Okay, so this poster or this set of posters looks interesting. And guys, this is not rehearsed. I'm looking at this all in real time, so let's scan through this. And Matt and Ben, you guys can jump in anytime.
That's pretty.
Boom Records, nice comp. So a little information here about the request and the concept. Oh, okay. It's a nice logo, guys. I really like it. This is one of those ones where we talked about in the logo episode where it's 1 + 1 = 3. It's a dart and also is it a 1/4-inch jack? Is that what we call that? A headphone jack?
Yep.
A professional one. That looks really good. Nice idea there. Really simple typeface. I love simple typefaces, and it's a good lockup between the dart, mic plug, and Blumen Records. So far, so good. Ooh, this pattern is like making me cross-eyed right now. But it's cool. And I like that you're introducing patterns. Huh, interesting. Okay. And if you're tuning in right now, is it Gianluca? How do you say his name? Yeah, Gianluca. If you're tuning in right now, feel free to talk to us. Both Matthew and Ben are monitoring the conversation online. All right, nice color palette, good presentation. This looks to me like a really solid mock-up. I suspect it's a mock-up. If it's not, nice photo, beautifully done.
Yeah, I love the colors.
It's really nice. Good job. Oh, and he's got some posters. This is a pretty comprehensive identity system.
Mm-hmm.
and really well presented.
Yeah, I think little things that could be tweaked are probably just the bridges and transitions between going from the basic identity, which has a very particular color palette, and then transitioning into the posters and other things, which introduces new colors and like secondary colors. I feel like the bridge is a little lost there. So the transition into that threw me off because it's like it feels like it got very specific, and then when we got to those secondary branding elements and applications, it kind of threw me off. And even the beginning too, like I'm expecting one thing by seeing this brass pick that has a certain feel to it because it does have like that rustic feel or something, and then we get into these teal colors, which throws me somewhere else. So there's like little transition things. I think the work is solid. It's just telling the story, I think, needs to be a little bit more clear. Like, where do these secondary color palettes come from? The application, what was the thought behind that? How do you get into that from the original branding package?
Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of kind of nostalgic retro hipster thing going on, and I think what I'm hearing from you, Matthew, is some of the colors and the cleanliness of the applications it's something's a little bit throwing us off, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But if you looked at each one separately, the identity system with its clean layout, very modern thing, it looks really solid.
Yeah,
but then some of the hipster stuff, and this could be a fault of the mock-ups that you're using. You know, it's easy to find like cool hipster mock-ups, you know, like from Portland or whatever. And then this is where people who are not fans of mock-ups are going to say, you know, you're just grafting one thing onto the other. So I would suggest that you try and find a happy balance between the identity that you want to make and the mock-ups that you can find, and find that balance. The other little bit of criticism I'm going to have for you here, and overall I think you did a really good job, is the pattern in the back, although nice, I'm trying to figure out how that ties into other things. When I'm designing an identity system or when I'm looking at somebody who's doing one, I like to see how many ways the identity system can stretch. We want to see, does this pattern work in this way, or can it make a three-dimensional object? And where does this pattern come from? Right now, it looks like it's just a geometric pattern. Maybe somebody who knows music can tell me, because I'm not that familiar with music, so pardon my ignorance. But Bloom Records, I'm not sure like why or where that's coming from. And that's the one thing that's throwing me off. So the thinking behind the dart and it's on target and the mic jack is really good, very conceptual to me. Maybe the inside or the patterns could be like the grooves of a record or something, like radiating circles or lines or something, a subtle nod to that. I don't mean to put sheet music in there because that's a little cliche, but it's just to do something. Or maybe you deconstruct the logo, the icon of the dart, into something, and we can see that in there. I was trying to figure out if that was the case, and it's not quite there. Right. That's the one little knock. So for me, I would give this portfolio, I'd give it a solid A-. Ben Burns, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just missing a little bit of depth here. I'd like to see more than 2 projects and a personal brand. I know that like.
Oh, you want to go back to his portfolio?
Yeah. If
okay,
you look
let
at
me
the
go back.
portfolio as a whole, you know, I guess I'm missing a little bit of depth there. So I'd like to see more work, especially on Behance.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm reading right here. He graduated in 2016 in graphic design at the International School of Comics. Very interesting. And it was a 3-year program, so maybe he just needs a little bit more time. It looks like this is his latest project. It was posted last, I think. Is that how this works? Or do you arrange this in any order?
I think you can arrange it by
order. So like for me, I'm not as drawn to this common net thing. It feels like another person designed it. It just doesn't have the same kind of finish level. I'll click on this briefly here. Something about this G is throwing me off here. Yeah, somehow this feels a little bit more student-like, and who knows the order of what anything is created. It doesn't feel as comprehensive and as well thought out.
Right.
Just for me. And I don't know what this project's about, but okay. This is one of those things where the mock-up is more interesting than the design. I hate to be harsh there, but the design itself needs to stand up so that the mock-up doesn't take center stage. And it's a very basic identity here, so when you don't have a lot of elements to work with, everything has to be perfect. The scale, the proportion, the typeface, the colors. Maybe it could have used a little one embellishment, one flourish, or something else. I don't know what that is, but it feels like it's missing that. But I think we should move on. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's move on. So the next up is, let's see, who is this? Joseph Patterson. All right, so he's had communication, motivation, curiosity. He's a designer, animator, and innovator. Okay, so he's using a parallax site. So let's get to his work. Now, you guys, before you guys get all angry on me, we don't have the time to literally read through every description and find out everything about you and read your bio and have that context. And it's true, it'd be nice to know all that stuff, but in reality, the person who's looking at your portfolio has a very limited amount of time. I know that's going to hurt your feelings a little bit. I know your mom cares about your work, and your dad sometimes cares or pretends he cares. But the rest of the world, we've got a job to do, and we have to find somebody to work with, somebody to hire really quickly.
Yeah.
And if you imagine, and we've done this before, when we do a job posting, we are literally getting hundreds of applicants. Hundreds. So we're combing through this really fast if you think about it. So keep that in mind, you guys. It's not about you. It's about the person that's going to hire you, either for a freelance gig, a full-time job, or a client who's going to send you an opportunity of some sort.
And I think one of the biggest opportunity points there is, the text in the header of your website. And I think Mr. Patterson almost hits it, right? He says communication, motivation, curiosity. That's kind of intriguing. When I get down to designer, animator, innovator, that kind of makes me go, okay, well, which one are you? If I'm looking for an animator, I'm looking for somebody that's really specific. So I would want that text to be a little bit more targeted.
Right. Yeah, usually with the headline, you kind of bring them in, pique their curiosity, and then the sub-header is like, okay, well, what is it? Tell me what it is so I know how to frame the rest of your site.
Right.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where I think there's a cadence, and the cadence is really nice in the way you read it. Communication, motivation, curiosity. It's got a good rhythm to it. Designer, animator, juggler, whatever. I know it says innovator, but what Matthew is saying is if you have kind of an obscure headline, you need a subhead to make that make sense and ground it.
Right.
It's okay to say something crazy like was, is, and always will be.
Right.
But then you can't say designer, animator, and innovator.
Right.
You have to say something substantial and to ground it, okay? So we need to do that. But that's really getting into messaging and copywriting. We're no experts, guys. We're just giving you some feedback, all right? But let's get down to what really matters. Let's look at the projects. And I'm scanning through this, and I'm already seeing a little bit of a problem, okay? Joseph, I'm seeing a little bit of a problem. It seems like you're all over the place. And how do I know that? Because you say, I'm a designer, I'm an animator, and I'm also an innovator. And we've talked about this before. The way our brains are designed to work, think of it as a bento box, and we have a compartment for each kind of thing. And it's much easier because we want to preserve calories and not burn unnecessary brain power to put people in these little segments, right? So I want to know, are you a designer, an animator, or an illustrator, or an innovator, or whatever it is you are? Okay, so this is where it gets a little tricky because I see a little bit of an illustration. I see some typography. It seems like you're more of a designer. So let's pick a project, and I'm going to pick various works. Let's see what this looks like. And Joseph, feel free to hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook, or on YouTube. We're actively looking on Facebook and YouTube right now. The feed is still live. Are we still live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
we fixed the
We
problem.
made it.
We made it past the first 10 minutes. It's amazing. Good job, team. Good job.
So I think that Mr. Patterson also isn't really upfront. You have to dig kind of deep into the site to learn that he just graduated this year, 2017. And I think that that's important to say up front. I just graduated. I'm a student. This is a student portfolio, because that kind of sets the expectations for the rest of the site.
I mean, I kind of disagree, but that's because
Okay.
of the types of people I hire anyway. When I go to somebody's site, it has to be, I can't tell the difference between somebody who just graduated
Oh, that's a good point.
and who's been working for 5 years.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's the level that I look at and I
Right.
look for. Otherwise, if I could tell that they're a student just based off of the first
gonna skip
3
over 'em.
projects,
Right.
I'm gone already.
Yeah.
Next,
You're
next
gone in
candidate.
60 seconds, Matthew?
Yeah, less than that, 5 seconds.
Like Nick Cage?
Really, 5 seconds. It could be less than 5 seconds, and I could make my decision.
And what kind of clued me in there is the Gil Sands poster.
Yeah,
right
that's
there
a
on
dead
the thing.
giveaway.
It's
Yeah.
total student work, which is fine. It's totally cool to have student work in your portfolio, especially if you're looking for your first job. But, be upfront with it. That's my opinion. I know you
Right.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so I have my next nitpicky thing here, so let's get into the Gil Sands poster and let's see what happens.
Spencer Foster is asking, is it good to have your reel at the top of your site if you're a motion artist? I think yes, because especially if you're saying you're a motion animator, right away, just show me the good stuff, because your reel is supposed to be a cut down 60 seconds, 90 seconds of only the best. So if I only have 30 seconds to evaluate you, show me the real, show me the good stuff.
So that's like a montage they're going to cut down. That's all you really need to see, right?
Right.
The other day, Greg was sending us somebody looking for an internship opportunity. And I don't know how long the reel was. 20 seconds into it, I just stopped and said, hire the guy.
Right.
That's all I need to see. Right. And what you guys don't realize is people who are in senior level positions, people who have been working in the industry for some time, people who are creative can spot talent from a mile away. It's very easy. And we've done this many, many times. We look at work and it's not interesting. And for some reason, I keep looking at it and thinking it's going to get better. And it never does. It has never gotten better.
Right.
We know. Okay? It's sad, but it's true. Okay. I'm going to try to pull out maybe the shining star in this. And it's kind of all over the place. And it does feel like student level work. And one might ask, well, what does student level work look like? And what's the difference? Because I remember as a student going to Art Center, you always want that professional look. Did you guys remember that? The pro look. So what does the pro look like, guys?
For me, I look for a couple of things. Is typography. Like if they have really great type skills, that's one thing I look for. And, it's different compartments.
Be clear. When you say good typography, everybody says that.
Okay,
what are you looking for specific? Get in the mind of Matthew and Encina. What's happening there?
What I'm looking for, are they choosing the right fonts? Can they lay out body copy? Because I think anyone can just put a beautiful letter G and crop it out and make it look beautiful in any composition. It's minimal. Great. That'll get me curious. But where usually I could figure out if somebody's great with type or not great with type is when I see their layout of body copy. For some reason, like people who just can't lay out 2 paragraphs, it's very apparent right away that they have really nasty rags on the side when they lay out their type, and the kerning and the what do you call it? The leading is not clean. It's either
too open or too tight.
Yeah. So those are the things I look for right away when I say looking for great type, not just making decorative big blocks of type, but body copy is really important for me.
Okay. Okay, Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, it's just the products that they put in their portfolio. So if it's a lot of like, personal stuff or things that you can tell nobody actually bought or paid for, it's difficult to say, okay, this person is a professional working, in a day job that he's designing all the time. So typically the subject matter in each project is what I look at.
The 2 dead giveaway projects. Give me the 2 dead giveaway projects, Ben Burns.
Whew, that's a tough one. I'm gonna phone a friend.
No. You already said it. The type poster. The font poster,
type
right?
poster, yeah.
That's a type
And
poster,
then-
and everybody has that assignment. If you went to a regular design school, that's one. What is another one?
Honestly, if you put your personal brand story in your portfolio, it's kind of meta.
Yeah.
If you tell the story about developing your personal brand and it's the first one, which I think it
I
is
agree.
here,
I agree. That's
Okay,
you can
that's
tell
a
right
dead
after
giveaway.
that. Yeah.
All right, Matthew, give me one. Dead giveaway, a student assignment.
making a poster off of your favorite song or album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a typical art school, design school assignment. It's like take your favorite song, turn your lyrics into like a poster or kinetic motion piece.
Oh, there you go. That's what you meant to say, Matthew. You saved yourself there.
Kinetic
He's
motion
talking
piece, there you
about the kinetic type lyric video.
Right.
That's a basic assignment if you're in an animation motion program. Take the lyrics of a song. We actually reviewed one the other time,
Right.
and that's what happened. So those are the two dead giveaway projects. The third one is when you see the Hamburg font lettering exercise, when you have to write Hamburg in Caslon and it's done with Plaka and you paint, and that's a dead giveaway. So those are dead giveaways of student projects. But what I'm hearing here, you guys, is blur the lines. Make it so we can't tell, and you can tell. And all you have to do is hold up the work of the company you'd like to work at and look at your work. What's different about it? It could be, and this is a strange thing, but whenever you design a movie poster, I always tell people, put the little mouse legal copy at the bottom, because as soon as you put that in, it feels real. It's because only in school can you get away with not putting that stuff in there. It's that kind of stuff that actually makes it feel real. And it's weird because we're conditioned to see those things and not see them at the same time. Mm-hmm. But anyways, getting into your work here, I think there's still a level of work and craftsmanship and detail and comping that you need to work on to get yourself to the next level. I think you're just one rung away from getting to that professional level, and work on that. I personally like this S that is turned on its side, I think. And in the negative space, you see two light bulbs. Mm-hmm. That's cool. It's kind of, you're looking for a shape there, and I can see that you're finding your way through an idea. Mm-hmm. But here's where it's wrong. or where it doesn't work for me, is you have a pattern in the back, and the scale is too similar to this. And if you watch one of Matthew's videos before on contrast, contrast is king for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Big next to small, smooth next to rough. That's what happens. Sharp next to round. Okay? Lots of little detail to big blocky shapes. So here, when the lines get blurry, it doesn't look good. All right? So it's a creative think space. I don't have time to read all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure this is a comp. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a mock-up.
Now here's where style matters. I wouldn't put it in a strip mall, which is what it looks like. I would try and find some kind of cool alleyway, take a nice photo. You can do that and then comp it in yourself. I think it'll look much, much better. Okay? Is he using Gil Sans?
On that one too?
Yeah, I think
Man.
so.
Is
Okay.
it?
Well, anyways, we're going to talk about this one really quickly here. Then we're going to move on. On this one, you've taken the mark and you've created a pattern. And I actually quite like the pattern. It's not the same mark, and I was trying to figure out what the heck is going on. It's like you filled in the negative space to close off the S. But I think when we were talking earlier about Gianluca's portfolio, he did a really good job of creating comps and mock-ups, but he didn't really extend or deconstruct the logo. And here, I think you've done a pretty good job. I'm not sure about the art direction in terms of this sofa and that lamp and that table and all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't grow up in an artistic family, or your father was not an architect, or your mom wasn't a painter, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to elevate your sense of style. It really is. Like if I asked Ben to go in a store and pick out a shirt or designer furniture, he might have a difficult time.
Oh man, I'd be lost. Come on.
Would you
now.
really?
Oh yeah, easy.
That's why you're gonna hang out with me.
Jeans.
Basics.
Yeah, Old
Basics.
Navy, man.
All right. So here's where I'm going to tell you something, you guys. You probably need to start doing this right now. What you want to do is pick up some interior design magazines from Europe, preferably. So El Deco is really good, UK edition. The Italian stuff is often very good. Start to elevate your sense and start training your eyes to pick out high quality stuff. I can tell you right now, this couch, the proportions and the lines on it don't look good to me. The table, the details, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't look great to me. It's mostly proportion and scale and materials, okay? But anyways, we digress. Let's go on to the next person. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
In between, there's a good question from Farai. He asked, if you're straight out of college, what's the best way to sell your work when all you have is student work?
I have no problem with student work whatsoever. I just want really high quality design.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I just want real high quality design, and I don't care. Okay. The best thing that you can do is try to do work that emulates the work of the people you admire the most, and so that we can't tell if it's that person making it or you making it. The more you can close that gap, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
All right. So I guess we're 20 minutes in. We probably should take a break. You guys good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me switch my deck here. And where am I? All right. So here's first break. We're going to take some questions. You guys have been listening to what's going on, right? So Ben and Matthew are going to pull some things. But before we dive right into that, I want to mention a little bit about what's going on here with some sponsors and all that kind of stuff. Got to pay the bills. All right. Actually, I'm making light of something that's very important to me. Brands and companies are coming out now to help support what we're doing, part of the movement, and they're part of what makes this possible. So one of our sponsors, as you guys know, is HelloFresh. HelloFresh, let me make this go full screen here. HelloFresh is a meal delivery service where you actually cook and you get your hands dirty with recipe cards and all that kind of stuff. I love it. I've had the service sent to my house. It's delicious ingredients you'll love to eat. Simple recipes you'll live to cook. So if you guys go to HelloFresh.com, if you're thinking about having some kind of meal prep service, you can order for as few as 2 and as for big families too. Totally customizable meals. Go to HelloFresh.com. You can save $30 with the code FUTUR. FUTUR. And whoa, Ben, we are creeping up on 100,000 subs, and I think we want to do something special, right?
Yeah, so
what are we gonna do?
Just talked about this today. So if I screw this up, I am so sorry. Okay, but we are going to do a contest. The details are going to follow later, but the prize, we're going to fly one person out here to LA to hang out with Chris and the Future crew in the blind offices for the full day.
This one we roll legal underneath. We haven't worked out any details. I just thought, Are we gonna pay for a hotel too? What are we gonna do, man?
Details will follow.
All conditions subject to change.
That's right.
All right. But this is a big thank you for everybody that's been part of this thing, and we appreciate you sharing and how active you've been in the community, either asking questions or commenting and just being a part of this thing. And we were creeping up to 100,000. I think we're going to hit it in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Who knows? Yeah. And it's been awesome. So the grand prize, actually there's one prize, is we're going to fly you down here. You're going to spend a whole day with us, and you just get to be a fly on the wall. Whatever we do, you do, okay? And we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, next up. A lot of people have been asking about where the heck do we get the music from? Where's this music come from that we're using on our show? Now, some of it's scored, custom for us. Some of it's been remixed by very talented Aaron Zakelli. And I'm going to play a little bit of it right here. You guys can hear that, right? Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys over there. And Artlist is where we get the rest. It's licensed music. Okay? And I'm playing a little sample for you right now. It's really high quality music. And what's really cool is it's unlimited use. It's all you can eat, and it's extremely affordable at $199 a year. So if you're a YouTube host, if you're working on motion graphics projects, they have an amazing library. It's organized by mood, video theme, instrument, spotlight, and Matthew and Ben are going to share with you guys the short link. So I'm gonna stop the music. All right, cool. And here's where you go. We're an affiliate now, and it's $199 a year, like I said. And when this deck goes out, you guys will be able to click on that link. It's art-list.io. Okay? All right. So a little drum roll. Ben, we've been working on something. Right? What's new? You guys ready for what's new?
Let's do it.
How do I get more clients that want to pay me what I think I'm worth? Hi guys, my name is Chris Doe. I'm the founder of Blind. Blind is a motion design firm. We're top 10, top 20. When we started to work on national brands, we felt like we finally arrived. I want to share what it is that I've learned in the last 20 plus years of running a design business, of entrepreneurship, of learning about marketing and sales, and I want to empower you. The Futur is a content and education platform to teach the business of design to creative people. This is the first class in our business bootcamp series about sales and marketing. Evaluate your sales pipeline, establish a marketing funnel, and craft a marketing plan. Really, it's all about doing less work for fewer clients and earning more money. This class is for anybody that wants to generate more leads. If you love the results you have, if you love the clients, I don't think you should buy this course at all. If that doesn't sound like you, click below for more information. All right, and we're back. Hopefully, let's get a round of applause. I was holding my breath for a minute, you guys. Did it work? Did we get audio this time? Because last time there was no audio.
No one said anything
about
audio, so I'm hoping that worked.
All right, so exciting things happening here at the Futur. So let's get into the questions, Ben.
Awesome.
Ben and Matt, fire off your best questions.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I got some juicy ones, but
really? All right, you go first.
Okay, let's start with the light one and we'll get in deep. So PJ asked, is it okay to show in your portfolio personal projects of having dummy text, Lorem Ipsum basically, but you have the high quality design? Is it cool to show Lorem Ipsum in your portfolio?
That's a question, huh? All right, you want to answer it?
I think not. For me, because when I think of a designer, like the person I'm looking for is somebody who knows how to think. And if somebody can't even put together just a thought of, design to me is a lot of image and text, and those things kind of coming together to tell a very particular message.
What about body copy though?
Body copy?
Yeah,
body copy's okay.
Oh, okay. So headline, subhead, and then you can Greek the body copy?
Yeah. I think that's okay. But I think just thinking about like headlines, like what I should... Language has all to do with how I frame what I'm looking at.
Sure.
So if it says Lorem Ipsum and then I see an image, I have no idea how to interpret that. There's no magical moment of 1 + 1 = 3. There's no creativity there. It's just like, here's a pretty picture and a nice font on top of it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think, I was a little conflicted on that because we use Lorem Ipsum when we're jamming on design.
Yeah.
Mostly because when Min was designing the Futur newspaper magazine, I didn't have lines, so she just scraped and pulled, and there is placeholder text. It says headline goes here, body copy goes here, and that's an internal thing, and that's totally okay. But in this day and age, because of the internet, you can search anything, copy paste, and just use it, or you can use hipster ipsum and just drop it in there because it kind of looks like real words, right?
Or Emily likes to use pasta ipsum.
Pasta
It's all
ipsum.
about pasta.
Yeah, all the carbs. All right, next question.
You wanna shoot
Yeah, I can
one?
go. All right.
Go ahead.
Can you make up content for identity systems that didn't go any further than logo and business card? So he's talking about further collateral and other content.
Why wouldn't you be able to do that? What freaking
You designed
rule?
it, right?
First of all, you guys, I encounter this problem often in that students tell themselves, and even professionals tell themselves, there's all these rules to creativity. When you can do something, when you can't. And then you ask them, where'd you hear that from? And nobody can ever cite a real source. These are things that we have in our head about citing, it's not okay to show this thing, or it's not okay to show that thing, or I can't do this. Your number one objective is to make sure you achieve your goals. And if your goal is to get an internship, a job, or a client, you guys build it out. Build it out. No problem with that. Next question. Or is that enough for questions?
No, how many projects is too many for a portfolio?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Ben, why don't you answer it?
I want to say if you go over 20, it's going to be too much. Yeah. But I would also say it kind of depends on, how specialized you are. Like the first principle is to put your best work out there. And if you have like a very specialized style and stuff like that, expanding that, especially if you have like your portfolio based in Instagram or something like that, where you have this huge role, that's fine. But as far as like a website, you generally want to stay under 20.
Well, I have some thoughts on that.
Okay.
I think you'll need 5 to 7 portfolio pieces for somebody to see consistency in your work. I'm looking for a pattern of consistent good work, okay? And if you can honestly produce 20 really good looking pieces, go ahead and put it in there. I don't care. The only thing that you can do is to hurt yourself where projects 8, 9, 10 through 20 aren't really good, and then now I'm focused on that. You really don't need that many. I'm going to tell this story. When I went to show Kyle Cooper, the famous main title designer, my portfolio, I was waiting in his lobby for an hour, literally an hour, and I had probably a dozen pieces in there. Just graduated school. He thumbs through it with his finger like the yellow pages at 1, 2, 3, and he says, "Thank you." Close the case. I left. That's how many it takes for somebody to know if you're good or not. That's it. So don't hurt yourself. If you have somebody saying yes, walk away. And don't sabotage it. And you know why you're doing it, because you don't feel confident about the pieces you're showing.
Yeah.
That's why you add all this stuff.
Right.
We've talked about this before. Put all killer, no filler, and that will help you, not hurt you.
Right.
All right?
And you're only as strong as your weakest piece.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right. Any more questions, or should we get back to the show?
I think we could go back into the show and then
Let's do it.
percolate on some more questions.
All right, so let's go back to Twitter. And where are we there? All right, here we go. Okay, we're on Omer Younas. Or Yuna? Okay, Omer, we have a problem already.
First of all, I know that it's the way that you sent the link, but I'm hoping that you don't send that link to clients or something like that that shows it. Because you don't want that popover for another different company to show up to your leads or your job.
What the heck is this?
prospects.
I don't even know what this is.
It's an ad. It's an ad for a link sender.
Oh,
So it's bad. That's a no-go.
okay. I think we've looked at Omer's work before, right?
Yeah, we reviewed it in the motion review episode.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to just quickly scan through this. And you guys, for the second segment here, before we take another break, is we're going to go faster this time. All right? And
Whew.
so I'm going to say, since you're showing a demo reel here, guys, I have to turn the audio off the demo reel because some of you guys are using, or all of you guys are using, unlicensed music. And that's a common practice in our industry, and that's sort of neither here nor there. I'm not a legal person. I'm not making an ethical decision here. But if we play your reel with music, our video gets blocked. There's a copyright flag that goes up. So I have to turn the audio off, okay? Do we want to look at his reel? I thought we already looked at his
We
reel.
already looked
We
at
did,
it.
yeah.
So let's not look at his reel then. Ooh, what is this? Hold on a second.
No, but remember, so I still have the same hangups that I saw last time because he's more of a UI designer based off of the reel that we saw 2 weeks
right.
ago. But all of the thumbnails here is key art developed by somebody else. So I have an
Yes.
ethical issue with that because, I mean, it's a cool piece of key art, But I haven't even clicked in, and I'm already judging because once I get in there, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed or misled because at the top in his reel, he says he's a UI designer, and all of these things are key arts from games. So
all right. Matthew, your memory is far superior to mine. It must be a sign of my old age. I'm like, dude, I'm looking forward to this. And man, look at this grid. It's awesome.
It's that
I
tea,
recognize
man.
these things.
It's tea that you drink.
So
that's right.
It could be.
My mushroom tea, man.
And my energy is going to keep going up, you guys. This is an energy wellness drink here that I'm coming on, all right? So here's the thing. This is really good. This excites me. You do not want to set yourself up for failure, dude. So I'm going to click on this one. Crisis 3. And then I see the logo. And then we get into your interface. So I get it. I know why you're doing this, because somebody might not click on this because sometimes these UI things are kind of boring. And they're very functional graphics. But look, here's the thing.
This one isn't to me, though.
Oh, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying sometimes.
Right.
I'm pretty thrilled with
Ben.
this.
All right. But the thing is, you got to be careful about how you draw people in, because it sets up an expectation, right? It's like if you pick up a date and a really beautiful car, and you know everything's really setting it up for one kind of thing, and you roll up to your like beat up place, it's kind of messes people up.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, just align it. The only thing I can say to you guys is this: is own who you are. Period. Go all in on who you are, what you do. Be proud of it. Double down, quadruple down on that. Go all in. Okay? If you're a user interface designer, just show the heck out of that thing. Put it on screens. I would put it on a big old like a Mac mock-up or a monitor. Just make it shiny and awesome. I know who you are, and when I'm looking for you, I will find you. Okay? Don't worry about this other stuff. And that's a sign of like, I'm not that confident in it yet, or maybe we're just told that this is the way the industry works. Whatever your motivation is, I don't know. But I started on this, I'm like, dude, I'm hiring the concept artists who put this together.
Yeah, right?
Right? And I don't want to do that. Okay, we're going to move on.
Okay, next.
I will say the UI work there is a lot better. Once we got in,
It's good?
I was already judging when I looked at it.
Oh, okay.
The presentation's a lot better. I
Yeah.
mean, I was judging it just based off of the key art thing. It's an ethics thing.
Yeah.
Of like what you're showing versus what you did.
It's not even like, to
great.
me, it wasn't so much an ethical issue. It was a bait and switch.
Right.
Right? It's okay to say, like, I work on Crisis. So here's what you do, Omer. Just show the logo.
Right.
Just show the
Yeah.
logo Crisis.
Yeah.
I get the
Right.
brand name. And then underneath the logo, kind of in a make it kind of fade out a little bit. Show a little hint of the interface.
That's right.
And that's going to be consistent. That's a nicer way to approach this versus showing all this key art.
Right.
All right? I know we're allured to sexy, sizzling kind of things like key art, but it's going to hurt you in this case. But Omer, as we're all discovering, the work looked really good.
Beautiful work. Yeah.
Keep it up, man.
It looks
All
nice.
right. And, maybe give somebody else a shot at getting their work critiqued. These guys are doubling, tripling
sorry,
up on
it's
this.
coffee.
He's like Twitter bombing us.
Yeah, no, it's like.
All right.
I'm
next
sorry,
up.
Omar.
Let's do it. Dan Frost. Let's look at his work here. Dan Frost is in Buffalo, New York, USA. Okay. I can tell that he's not getting a lot of project views at 120. We're gonna have to work on that. Okay, as I scan through this, I don't know what I'm looking for because I see some logo identity stuff. I see some packaging. I don't know what this double exposure thing is. And then one looks like a photograph. And then building art pieces. The thing that catches my eye is the building art pieces. I have no idea what you do, so I'm gonna click on it. Matthew, are we going to be disappointed? Architecture, graphic design.
I'm gonna withhold judgment for now.
Photo by John Towner. Photo by Anders Gilden Photography. All right, I'm a little confused.
I'm confused too. I don't really know what we're looking at.
I don't either. There's no description. And in your Behance page, I see your focus is graphic design, art direction, and branding. And the next thing I see is architecture and photographs by other people. I'm confused, dude. Help me out. Okay?
Let's go to another one.
All right, you pick one.
The one with the. Oh man, the one with the logs. Pine Hill.
Pine Hill.
Okay,
Yeah.
Pine Hill. First line is custom lettering. The second is font type.
Right.
Okay, so this is a lettering thing.
Right.
I get it. All right. So let's critique this thing then, you guys.
Okay.
Go ahead. Who wants to start?
I mean, I think there just needs to be a little bit of a story when presenting your work.
Yeah.
Just in one sentence, really quick. what am I looking at and why am I looking at it?
Right.
I think that's what I need to understand, being the viewer on the other side. Just give me a little context so I know how to judge the work and how to evaluate it. Otherwise, you're making all these little claims in there. It's like, oh, photo by this person, this and that, and it's just really hard for me to frame. And then the label right here right now, first line is custom lettering, second type is font type. Again, it's like that doesn't tell me the story. Like,
right.
Is this supposed to be a brand? Am I supposed to be looking at Pine Hill for a particular way? I'm just judging it the very, very wrong way.
Okay, Ben, you go.
Process is key because clients hire you to solve a problem, not for aesthetics. So process. We'll preach that all day.
Wait. Hold on. Be careful what you say here.
All right.
Ben Burns may preach it all day. What are you talking about?
They're
When you
not
say
gonna-
process, what do you want him to show?
I want them to show the problem that they're solving for the client.
Okay.
Is this a lumber yard that needed an identity because they split away from a different owner? We need story there.
Okay, you're really talking about, let me understand the context and the problem.
Okay.
And explain that. When you say process to an art center person like Matt and I, it means to show books and pages of sketches and thumbnails and doodling.
Well, that stuff's cool too. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right, so that's where I want to be clear.
Okay.
That stuff is cool to a degree.
Yeah.
They get carried away with it at school, so I always warn people, I don't want to see your 80-page book.
Right.
You're
Right.
boring me, okay?
Right.
I want to see really great design. I want to see great messaging and great applications. Okay, I have problems with here. I'm going to get into the weeds a little bit. You did the lettering, so if you're doing the hand lettering, what you do is what other calligraphers and letter artists do, is you put a brush or a pen next to it instead of a bunch of ends of trees. That would be the first image. So you see this exact same logo. You put a brush or a pen or an inkwell or something so we can see it. And then you show me the applications. That's the story. You're saying,
Yeah.
I hand painted some of this, all right? Now we're going to get into this. It's very difficult to mix two typefaces together, okay? This one is working okay. It's not offensive. It's not great, but it's kind of somewhere in the middle for me. The problem I have with this is the two don't seem to be related. It's like a husband and wife that don't want to talk to each other anymore. So they're standing there at the cafe, but it's like, are you going to say something? No, you say something. So what logo marks like this do is they're supposed to feel like one tight, cohesive unit. So you have the lumber yard, which is obviously a different typeface. It's a little standoffish. It's too big as whatever they call this, a descriptor, something. It says Pine Hill is the king. Make that big. Lumberyard should be probably 50% of the size. It needs to be integrated in it, either with a line to contain it, a flourish that wraps it in. It's a tight unit.
You just want to make sure, visual hierarchy. Which one's more important?
There's that, and integration, hierarchy, legibility. There's some issues with the weight of the strokes, like they're thick at the bottom unnecessarily. And so great letterform artists and calligraphers, they practice this craft, for 1,000, 10,000 hours. And they'll paint and redraw this thing just as many times until they find the right one. Then they might cut them apart, tape them together, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of refinement that's missing. You see this E right here in the Pine Hill? There's a flat spot right there that's bugging the heck out of me. Okay? There's also this other thing, and I'm getting really critical here, is what angle are you holding your brush, pen, or calligraphy, whatever instrument?
Right.
Because the angles are all messed up, right? It should be at probably a 35, 22 degrees angle, and then the weights kind of hit it on the arm, right, of the P. And right now it's really wacky.
Right.
Okay, so it shows me that, we're not quite there with the lettering. Okay, what else? Maybe the texturing is a little heavy in some areas where the top of the eye is totally eroded. Okay, all right. So
And
keep it
also
up.
just-
Go ahead.
Just an overall spacing thing. There's a box, and I'm not really sure.
It should be centered a little bit more.
Yeah, it should either be
Yeah.
centered or completely off center. Like you have to find something to follow there, and
Yeah.
we're kind of both there. So
Okay.
a little tweaking on that.
Little tweaking. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Richard Khuptong from New Delhi, India. All right. 3,888. That's a lot more project views. Which one do you guys want to look at? I always start with the first one.
Let's
but
just start top left.
I'm going to do it.
Yep.
We're there. Ooh.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh wow!
All right.
365 days of lettering.
First impression?
I'm always impressed by this.
I'm impressed.
I'm always impressed by
It's almost like we planned this, man. Look at this. What does a hand letter a calligrapher do? He shows you his work and puts the instrument right next to it.
Right there.
It's like, it was done by my hand, and here it is.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of solid work in there. I think there's some weaker ones mixed in there, but it's okay because it shows that it was 365 days of just exploration, and he was willing to put it out there. So I really actually like that part because I get to see the growth from beginning to end. The only thing I would say is just part of the presentation is if it was a little bit more consistent as far as the white balance in the photo.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the lighting every time if it was a little bit more similar, because if you look at the spread across the board, some are more yellow, some are more warm, and then some are definitely cooler or green. So it's a minor consistency thing. But if that was all the same, and you were on Instagram posting that, I would be following you right now.
I suspect he is on Instagram. These are all square. I suspect that.
Right.
Okay.
But just because of the inconsistency, I would not follow.
Yeah. Okay, look, guys. The work is in the design. The marketing is in the presentation of the design. Take time to set up your lights and your camera and take a really good picture. All the top Instagrammers do that. You have to make an effort. I get this. It's like you did it and you snapped it probably with your smartphone and then posted it. I get it's convenient and it's of the moment and you're not too precious about it. And I love that part. And let me tell you what I really hate. You guys ready for this? It's going to be a little controversial. You know what I hate? I hate that my hand lettering isn't as good. That's it, you guys. I try and I fail and I fail.
Same
and
here.
one day I have a dream. I'm gonna wake up and I'm like, dude, I'm a master calligrapher, and watch my lettering. Until then, I'm gonna appreciate guys like you and probably hire people just like you. Good job. This is a classic example of I don't need to see so many projects.
Yeah.
And actually, seeing these other things scare me a little bit.
Right.
I gotta be honest. Like this. Why Dan Kang Facebook covers. Most of this work isn't intriguing to me. Like this other one is pretty good, I think. Let's see. Oh yeah, shows a lot of diversity and breadth of work. I have a little problem with the take me to the northeast because it looks like fake me to the northeast, right?
Maybe it is. You don't know. You don't know. Could be.
Yeah, it could be, and that's a problem. It shouldn't be.
Right.
And then northeast, the loop of the T is a little open, so it almost looks like an E. Northeast. So legibility and all that kind of stuff is really important. And then there's this weird one in the middle with the door. What?
I think this is just a good example of, pick the best ones to show.
Yeah. I don't think you have to show all
Edit.
these.
Well, you're talking about
Edit.
being very judicious in your editing.
Right.
I'm not liking the illustrations as much. The headhunter. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't even know if that's clip art or if you drew that. I'm not loving this tribal pattern with I don't know what that is in the middle. If it's a cow with two feathers. I think your thing is lettering.
Yes.
Hand lettering, calligraphy, brush script, hipster kind of lockups. That's what you should do.
Right.
Okay, and I think if you start honing in on that, you're going to build a much bigger following, and you're going to be able to get work from all over the world.
So you're saying he needs to go all in on that.
Go all in on that.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Let's move on. Good job, Richard. Hen Papirman. I've seen Hen's work before. All right. Hen Papirman. Okay. This is motion graphics reel, I assume. So let's click on this. Hopefully I can control the volume. Hold on, you guys. Stop. Turn off the music. Let's go full screen, right? Matt, get ready to talk about this work.
Okay. I don't know if I even need to see anymore.
Okay, let's stop.
Let's stop. So I think it's what I like about this is very clear what you do. 2D animation between just a lot of puppet animation, After Effects animation, type animation. Like I get it. I know what I could place you in. I think the work is actually pretty good. Usually where I see people are really weak at is weighting their animation. And I think across the board, the weight is pretty good. And what do I mean by weight is where, when things move, there's some nice distribution of movement. The velocity is is not even. Like it feels heavier at the beginning and it launches and it becomes lighter, and you just see the velocity change over time. I think there's actually a pretty good distribution of weight in the animation. Stylistically, I mean, I think there's little things on design that can be cleaned up, but I think there's definitely a lot of really good work here that I normally don't see from a lot of other student reels.
Okay, that's an awesome review there. I think she has a good handle on the animation curves in After Effects, and you can tell the way things stretch or how you anticipate the movement, and then there's a little bit of overshoot. We're getting into the weeds and talking about animation terms here, so the people that don't understand that, don't worry about it. It's for the MoGraph people. And she calls herself a motion graphics designer, and this is where I think you guys have to pick.
Yep.
Oftentimes, I want to put you in one of two categories. There are a couple of unicorns out there that do both, and we work with them here, where they're really good at design and animation, but more often than not, they're really strong at one or the other. I think your gift, truly, clearly, for me, one person's opinion, is in animation. Just go for it. And what I would suggest is taking the design from something else and animating that. And that'll make your reel look much better. If you want to go from where you're at and go up like 3 levels, pick up a piece of design from a living or past, what is it called? A past designer that you love or an illustrator, and just animate that. Show me what you can do. Because believe it or not, that's actually a lot of what real animators do. Somebody paints the style frame or the design, and then they have to interpret that and give life to it. So if you pick a piece of design or an animation, or I'm sorry, a piece of design or illustration, and then animate that, that's going to look awesome. It's going to say, wow, I've never seen that thing move before. That was a static poster or print that I love, and then you made it move. And you showed me your imagination and your creativity, and I love that, okay? This grid here is a little crazy. It's like a little pencil drawing, crazy colors. It's not an aesthetic that I love, but I can tell you know how to animate. All right, let's move on.
Cool.
All right. Mcdee design. This is a PDF.
Yeah,
so
hold up now.
Hold up once again. Hold up.
We did ask for websites.
Should I just close it?
No, we can look through it, but
Right.
I do want to say that if you don't have a digital presence, whether it's on Behance or Instagram or your own website, you need to get there.
Yeah. Look, guys, it is 2017. Wix, Squarespace, all these portfolio builders exist for a very low, almost free price. You got to get your work up. Because first of all, nobody can find you on a PDF, okay? And I know these guys. I've been talking to them, actually. Mcdee Design, I think they're in Africa or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, if you're listening to this. And they do 3D visualization. So these are like photoreal 3D models that they comp. Okay? And they do really solid work, in my opinion. Because look at this stuff, you guys. But we're running into a problem right here already, is that the rest of the design is very unattractive to me. You're using Bank Gothic, I think, as a typeface, and then you're combining it with some kind of serif typeface underneath it. And it just is funky. Even your justified right or flush right is funky. It's off. So this is one of those things where, why don't you just show me all your renders?
Right.
And maybe show me the layering of the images, like where you show a wireframe of the 3D model and the original photo. And so we know how good you are. Okay? And some of these images are really good.
And somebody can get turned off really quick just looking at the background too. So you want to be really selective. There's nothing wrong with, using white, right?
No. This is it right here. I mean,
White
if it
space.
looks like a catalog for a high-end Italian furniture maker and it's been staged properly and the lighting is incredible, that's it. I'm like, oh, you fooled me. I thought it was a catalog. And that it wasn't CG, right? So here's where I think you guys, Mcdee, I know we've been talking, is just go with a really basic font. And if you don't know what the font to get, go read one of the PDF that I have, the 20 fonts you should use. Go with a simple serif or sans serif typeface that's very legible, and don't over design this thing. Great artists hang their work in a gallery, and the gallery is just white space, beautiful lighting, and that's it. That's how you want to treat this. Ben's pointing to his watch because he's saying, what, we're at our hour?
We're at an hour. We can keep going, but we should take
a
some
break?
questions.
All right, let's take some questions. Hold on. I got a deck. Where's my deck? All right. I don't have a second break graphic. So let's take some questions. Boom. There we are. What are our questions? Guys?
All right. So Trevor.
How's our audience? How's our viewership today?
Oh man, they're alive.
They're alive?
They're just popping in YouTube.
Okay.
How about Facebook?
I know what, you
Facebook's
guys.
Pretty good, yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, once again, I'm going to ask you guys, where are you guys from? What city and state? Just type it in right now. It's going to drive Ben Burns crazy because it's going to go so fast. He can't
so
keep up.
fast, I can't
Let us know
keep
where you're calling in from. And you guys, as they come in, somebody just shout it out.
Okay.
Because we have fans from all over the world.
All right, let's see it. Come on, guys. In the meantime, while we're waiting on that.
There's a little delay, right?
Yep. Trevor Talk has a process or work question.
Okay.
So let me see if I can open this real quick.
Is anybody typing in?
I've heard a lot of people say that they would rather see process than the final product. Which one do we pick?
Let's argue about it.
Okay.
What do you want?
You have to do both.
Ben, you straddle the fence. No, he says, which one do you want?
No, you
Pick a
gotta-
side. Dude, are you Democrat or Republican? Pick one.
You have to do
Your
both.
Green
You have
Party,
to show
dude.
process and
Libertarian.
final product. Okay, now it's coming in.
Come
Hold
on.
Singapore, Detroit,
Singapore, Detroit.
North Carolina, Serbia, Spain, Mumbai, Los Angeles. What do you got?
We got all the way from Culver City.
Yo, Cover's in the
We
house.
got Columbus, Ohio.
Montreal,
Sunnyvale.
Curacao,
Sydney.
Wow.
Pyongyang.
Germany.
I said that
Pyongyang?
right, didn't I? Yeah. All right,
That's-
Venezuela,
Now somebody's trolling you, man.
Yeah.
London,
Boulder, Colorado. Ooh.
Helsinki.
Cape Town. Fort Myers.
I think if it's a place, we should say their country or city with an accent.
No, I think that's gonna go
Come on,
horribly
guys.
wrong.
Try it. Come on, guys.
I'm not gonna participate
All
in
right,
that.
fine. You guys
Okay, you go first.
are lame.
Sydney, Mexico, Miami,
Good dad.
Venezuela, Mill Valley,
Perth, Australia. We got Buenos
Philippines,
Aires.
Eugene,
Melbourne,
Oregon.
Houston. Dang, everybody's just going crazy.
It's all over the place, huh? Wow. Okay, you know what's happening right now, you guys? As you put this in, Cheryl's going to add a dot to a map. In every new city that we have a fan who's watching live, we'll add a dot to the map, and you're going to represent. So at some point, we're going to have a globe in here. You're going to see how many red dots we have on the globe. All right, thanks for doing that. So let's answer the question. Let's get back to the issue at hand. And you have to pick one, Ben. Process or finished product. Make a decision. Matthew, you go first.
I was gonna say both too, but
Yeah.
if I had to choose one, finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
I'll
just
get on that train.
Why?
because I just need to know that you can execute the final.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hiring you
All
for,
right.
to execute.
Look, we say this, and it's on an episode of Mad Men, right? Where Don Draper comes in the room. He's like, tell me a benefit. One benefit. And they put and. He's like, nope, just pick one. I can communicate one, and that's it. That's back when they could bully the client. It's different today. And I'll tell you why I made you guys pick that. I would pick finished product too. Because process is great, but if I'm not interested in the finished result, because we're in the design space, you got to make it look good at the end of the day. Get me there. When I'm really interested, tell me the story about context, problem, solutions, etc., challenges, users. I want to know that. Now, the reason why I make you pick is because people don't know how to present their process correctly.
Yeah.
They're showing me more stages of refined design, so it's essentially the same thing. I don't really want to see that personally. Okay, let's talk about with Mcdee design. I want to see process in the sense that here's the finished thing, and it looks really glossy, it looks really photoreal, amazing lighting, staging, and propping, right? And then show me the wireframes, show me the parts and pieces you put together, so I can really truly understand how much work was involved. If you had to remove the sky and replace it with something else, do a set extension, clone this out, drop in a CG car, show me that. That's helpful to me. If you look at really good compositing work, visual effects, you can't tell what they did. You're not supposed to. That's when we see like what is that called, Matthew? A breakdown where they show you all the layers.
Right, like a process breakdown.
A process breakdown. I appreciate that. Show me a killer reel, amazing work, pick 2 or 3 projects and break it down. And that's very common practice in the VFX industry if you're a compositor.
Gotcha.
Next question.
Okay, juicy one.
Ooh.
Juicy one.
Matthew, you're going to take this one.
What Christo says about focusing on something you specialize in, but so many jobs want a designer that can do everything, the Swiss Army knife. What do you do for that?
Okay. I'm not sure that's true.
I don't think it's true either.
So we're going to call foul.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to use an F word, foul. F-O-U-L. I think it's a common belief that that's what people want. But since running this studio, I've always looked for specialists.
Yeah.
It's very rare that I'm looking for a generalist. And in those instances, those jobs are few and far between. I think if we're looking at a ratio. 80% of the clients and jobs out there are looking for best in breed specialists. You and I are running into this right now on a big job we're pitching on, right? Yep. And the 20% might look for the generalist. And I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to go where the 80 is. If I'm looking for a work opportunity, I'm going to go there.
And honestly, the general...
He's moving... He wants to move into design. So he wants to know, what does he have to put in his portfolio or present to get into like a design program?
Oh, to enter into school?
Like a master's design program here in the U.S.
Okay.
And I know each school has their own very specific requirements. So it's different than going to apply for a job, because I think all the schools here are very close.
They're going to be lower paying. They're probably going to be much smaller agencies that
they need people who wear multiple hats.
So, you know, you got to position yourself above that.
All right.
Some sketches and process
work.
All
right. You guys, I wanted to give you guys a few seconds to think. I already have my answer. So I'm going to burst out my answer, and then you guys, if you want to add something.
No, there's a good question from Michael. He's in school right now as a bioengineer.
Then feel free to, okay? There's a couple ideas here. One is that you need to go to school to get a job in design. You do not. A lot of schools are going to give you a degree, and they don't even require that you had an undergraduate focus on design, and they'll let you in and you get a master's program and you'll suck. That's the truth. Okay, so now what you have to think about it is this: is you're a really smart guy. The fact that you're a bioengineer, it means you're far superior to me in your intellect. Use that big brain of yours. Search for things on the internet. Learn as much as you can. Be as informed as you can be prior to making the plunge into going to school. And if school is the path for you and you're like a very scholastic person and you like to be in school, then fine. Pick the best school. Don't worry if it's a master's degree. I don't care. Master's degree only matters if you want to teach for a living, in my opinion. You guys go.
I don't think I have anything.
Okay, then
I was gonna drive that point home.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a waste of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done. Let's move on. One more question, and let's get back to the show.
There's, dang it, it's kind of going off of the last question, but Josh was asking, most employers here in Australia are looking for people who can design and code.
Low-paying job. I'm
in Australia
right now.
Yeah, in Australia.
Wow.
If they're looking for somebody to do both, that's two sides of the
Wait,
brain.
hold on. I agree with you, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
Ben, you know how to code a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know how to design.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you a little bit more valuable here. And Jamie knows how to code too. And she knows how to design. And then she's telling us what's up. So let's talk about this, all right? Get back into the T thing.
Yep.
You have to be able to be an expert at something, not a jack of all trades. You have to go deep. So Ben, I would say your depth is in design and digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You happen to have all these extra skills, but because you have that depth, you're a valued asset here. Jamie's an amazing designer typographer, and you guys have seen her work. She has that depth. Just because she can add all these other things on, that's a value add there. So you guys, it's misleading for us to say, you know, it's stupid to do that. I don't know how to code. I barely know how to animate because I'm super rusty now. But those little bits that I do know make me a better strategist, and I can talk about these kind of things. So that's the T model to a T. Deep, lots of little things. Where's my sound effects crew? All right, you guys, let's get back into it.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Going back, and I'm thinking for the last segment here, the last arc, the last tranche, if you will. Hopefully you use that word correctly. We're gonna go super fast.
Okay.
Only one of us is allowed to talk. Okay?
Okay.
And we're gonna do like 30 seconds. So you guys gotta cap it at max. So we'll look around the room and one person will say. So I'm gonna play this demo reel. I'm gonna turn the volume down. And I'm assuming now that it's gonna be Matthew or myself on this one. This is Aimee. Oh no. Oh no, it's not working.
Refresh.
Aimee.
Maybe refresh. Try to refresh your browser real quick. It might have just gotten stuck there.
Aimee Bruss or Bruce.
I want to say Bruss, just because it
Okay,
looks
here we
like
go.
Brussels.
All right, let's look.
Okay, there we go. Cool. Oh, nice.
I know the experience is to listen to this with music.
Oh, this is nice.
It is nice. You're pleasantly surprised, Matthew. I can tell.
No, it's the weight thing. You could tell that there's weight. There's those like nice pauses and ramp ups and downs. You could see the secondary animation. Everything's kind of stacked as how it unfolds.
Mm-hmm. And this kind of like you said, playing with the curves,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nice camera moves.
Yep.
I'm feeling it. Very refined here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people do that little camera bounce and they can't get it right.
Right.
And I like it. So we don't need to see more. Aimee, you're pretty
good.
rad.
Oh, look, it's nice and short too. Perfect.
Yeah.
She's
And
doing something right.
And you're doing a little 3D. I see it. If anything, the work is a little corporate, and it's probably because of either of the projects that you're getting today, but you have a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
I believe if you're not already, let's see where she's at. There's Aimee, motion graphics, freelance. Mankato, Minnesota. All right. Oh, no,
work.
hold on. She's now in Virginia Beach, VA. That's what
Oh,
your
nice.
neck of the woods, Ben.
Yeah, Virginia. I'm from Richmond.
All right. Dare I say this, Aimee? I'm going to say this, and Matthew, agree or disagree with me. I think you need to move to a bigger market.
Yeah.
I think you're talented enough, and if you move to a bigger market, A, you make more money and you work on sexier projects. If that's what you want, I think you should start sending your reel out to shops on the East Coast or on the West Coast. And that's what I'm going to say.
Are you breaking the rules here?
What's the rules?
I thought only one person was supposed to speak.
Well, Matthew started. No,
What are we
hold on. Matthew started speaking during the whole thing.
Next,
so I
let's
just
go.
jumped in. Let's go. Go get yourself a better job. You're worth it. All right. Next. All right. Sky Pathak. Ben?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Oh, which one do you want?
Sky Pathak. Pathak?
Yeah, but which one do you want? 1, 2, or 3?
We'll go one.
All right.
All right, so I can see that you have 3 here. They're all kind of the same thing, and honestly, what I'm looking at is student work. And I can kind of tell that because I doubt a client would purchase something like this. Compositionally, it's kind of hard to read. I am not a D school person. I didn't go to design school, so seeing the practical use for something like this is difficult for me. That's kind of all I got on this one, Chris.
Okay, let's move on.
All right.
You followed the rules. All right, Sky, work on it, buddy. And I can tell that the F-bombs in there don't help you.
Yeah.
People try too hard with that to try to be cool. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Ooh, Nicolai. Huh.
Now hold up. Did you set this up so you got the good one? I'm just kidding, Scott. I'm just joshing.
No, I'm saying one of us. It doesn't have to take. We don't have to take turns. Let's do the focus watch. All right. Let's check this out. Okay, now here's process, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Now this doesn't count as our official 30 seconds. We're just scanning the work because we're looking at this all in real time. So I assume this person's a product designer.
Yeah.
Wow. Clock, alarm, focus tool, calendar. I see. I know people who could use this. Ooh, and then it's going to get into 3D modeling too?
Chris is getting excited.
Yeah, you got the good
Hold
one.
on. Hold on. I only do the best, Ben. This is a secret to my success. Okay. All right. I think this is really nice. I love your sketching, and this is the right way to show sketching. Matthew's going to say something like, it's out of focus, dude, get the right exposure, and it's totally true. Totally true. And, okay, I know that you're a product designer probably, so typography is not your thing. We're not going to spend a lot of time. You guys just go with the classics, you know, and just don't get too tricky with the type, and you'll be okay. Nothing wrong with Helvetica, you guys. Just use Helvetica, and you'll be amazing, okay? Of course, the right point size and weight matters. The one criticism I have of your work here is you had me, you're pulling me in, and then the rendering of the watch, you lost me. This is where you can use a program like Keyshot or something. I don't know if you're using it right now, but the materials, and we see some edging issues here, like the orange upper left circle here. There's an edge and a lip to it. It's looking a little funky. The materials aren't quite right. I don't see the reflection in the glass face. Those kinds of things throw me off, and I'm looking for detail. Again, we want to look at this and say, was that a photograph or not? All right. I loved all these sketches, and somewhere between the sketch and the finished product, it lost a little bit of that life. The sketches are more alive with reflections and shadows, and you got to do that. All right, I'm out. Good job, dude.
Next.
Okay, Jayten Studio. Ooh.
Very straightforward. At the title at the top, this is what I do. I like it. It's
Okay,
cool.
It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Still unsure. Well, maybe I was. You're right. You read my mind. Oh, Jay, dude, you're so here. Oh my God, you had me, and then what? All right.
Oh man.
Instagram gallery. Okay. Should we look at something in the gallery?
Yeah. Let's go to work at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm doing it. Matthew, you pick one.
Let's go to the top right. Inspire.
This one?
Yeah.
I thought we just looked at that one.
Is that where we started? No, the first page was his like landing page.
Okay,
and he was
I get it.
going over his
All right.
work.
Inspire, create, showcase. Inspire, create, showcase. I need to put a comma in between.
Right.
Oh. This reminds me of old school airbrush art, guys. And I love it. It's like a total 80s thing. I used to airbrush.
Did you used to make shirts and put that on your leather jackets too, or what?
No, I wasn't good enough to make a shirt. I would ruin it. So I would use illustration board. So let's go back to the work. Let's pick one, then Matthew, do your thing. Let's go to this one, all right? Okay, I'm starting to formulate opinion. But Matt, you want to credit?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some cool explorations with color and form here. I think it's a little inconsistent for me. Like, there's a few pieces in here overall that get me pretty excited.
Like which ones?
Like the project we were looking at before, the top was great, and then as we went down, I kind of lost that a little bit. On this one, I think there's some great things. Like Piccadilly, I think looks kind of nice, and then Circus falls apart a little bit for me. As we look through some of these other things, like as we go to the very bottom, the original sketches actually look more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, 100%.
The weights are really nice. I think they're really evenly distributed, but for some reason, once it gets to the rendered form, it loses some of its charm.
I think there's a little overcompensating here with effects, right? Because the actual form of the lettering here is really nice.
Yeah.
So stick to the. That's all you need. You know?
All right, I just want to point out Ben broke the rule.
Ah!
He went twice. See,
in.
I stayed away from that. I just I know you're totally right, Ben Burns. Since you broke the rule, I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
The pieces that don't work for me are the ones that looks like you applied every Photoshop filter and rendering technique and transfer mode possible, like overlay, soft light, and just putting too many lens flares. Where it's a little bit a softer hand in how you approach it, and that's where I think you're doing really well. It's obvious to me you know how to design letter forms too, and stick with your strength. Don't get crazy with this Photoshop technique. The Inspire, Create, Showcase, that was your best one in terms of like the brush, and it looked like real paint pieces, you know? Whereas this one looks like too many Photoshop filters. Let's move on. Okay, there's no way we can finish this in the next 5 minutes, so let me just poke around a little bit here. If you guys see one, you're like, dude, me, just say something, all right?
Guys, if we missed you, it's not on purpose. We didn't, segregate you
First
away
in.
from the group.
First in.
It's not even first in because we're missing some people from March 14th. We just missed you.
No, not possible.
It is
Speak for yourself.
possible.
I did a hashtag search here, and at the very bottom on March 14th is Gianluca Santoro. I just did a hashtag search and I went to the bottom. I worked my way up. So if I missed it, you guys are getting angry, that's okay. You guys know that it's the luck of the draw. We're not playing favorites there or anything, okay? And
we still love you.
This is a beautiful site. All right. Maybe I'm biased. This is Dan's work. He says he's a Singaporean graphic designer and visual artist based in New York City. That's as straightforward of a description. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. That tells me everything about you and what you're doing, where you're at, in case I want to work with you. Okay? Let's look at this. And also very nice, clean layout. Okay, but then you're going to show me animation? I'm scared. I'm scarred. Whoa. Holy cow. Oh. Hold on. Kids, turn away from the channel. Hold on, meltdown. Censorship. Okay.
Scroll down.
All right. That is not a video I'm going to watch. That's what they call it, not suitable for work. And I will be adding that to my private collection for later.
Yeah, what's that link?
Now,
Let's go to another project real quick.
okay. Let's where's the we'll be right back graphic. Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
I'm afraid to click on this now.
Let's look at the stills.
All right, the stills are safe. Okay. Woo. Woo. All right. Okay. You know what? I think you're a talented designer. You can illustrate, you can design, and you have obviously a sense of typography and all that stuff from what I've seen so far. And then you can animate too, and the animation isn't bad. It's not bad. So you're a unicorn, I think. And you may be one of the few people who can pull it off. Now, I'm seeing some inconsistencies, and this is where maybe one is clearly your strength, right? So let's take a look at this woman with the earring that's a coffee cup, I think, or whatever that is, the large hoop earring. And I see this kind of stippling effect that's kind of a throwback to a certain kind of style, like Art Deco posters, and I really like that. But then I see gradients on the inside, and that throws me off. You know, that speaks of the digital age. So we're not quite totally 100% consistent in the design of this piece. And we're seeing banding, and there's some problems there. And I don't want to see that. I want to make sure that your images are super tight. I really like this image of the woman and the man looking at each other, where the butterfly or the moth, the wings kind of line up with the eye, and it's a pretty cool surrealistic thing. I love that kind of stuff. Right? I'm a sucker. But then we get into the eye here, and I'm seeing like that digital edge pop up again. It looks very much like a piece of Illustrator design, and then with some kind of gradient Photoshop stippling texture applied on top. This is where I think you might want to take the line art and blur it and turn up the contrast and soften the edges, because the edges are too perfect and too sharp. It adds that digital edge, and I don't like that personally. Okay? Awesome job, though. We will bookmark this for later.
Yeah, can we pop back to the homepage real quick?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, out of everybody's portfolio that we looked at today, this homepage speaks more to me than anybody else's.
Why?
You let the work shine; it fills the frame. The grid is not like all two columns. It's broken up really nicely, and then that header, that headline at the top of the page is really short and sweet. I'm a Singaporean graphic designer and visual artist based in New York City. Boom, done. Good, awesome.
Good work, man. Good work,
Awesome.
Dan, from Singapore, living in New York. See how you can remember that? All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it. So just to show people that I actually did have the intent of looking at all the work, we'll just quickly close all these panels so you guys can see that. Get you a little exposure on YouTube and on Facebook. There's something interesting in here. I want to see this, but we're out of time.
Keep going now. Keep going.
Daniel White. Oh, Daniel. This Lady Isabella thing, I saw it before. It's really nice. I like that. I was going to critique the heck out of it, but good job on that. And also on the Magical Christmas thing. Good job. This homepage, on the other hand, leaves a lot to be desired. If this is your landing page, I might leave.
Yeah.
Culturally relevant or culturally creative, I like that. We just got to work on this page. You got to give me some of the sizzle. You got to draw me in. If you don't have a good first impression, you're gonna lose people. Okay. I'm sure the work is good. There's some 3D stuff here. Alex Axelson, and then we have Alex Gudino, living in Lancaster, California. And that is it for this segment, you guys. I think we need to wrap up the show. Oh, I want to mention really quickly, you guys. You see this right here? On the Future page, from one of the episodes on critiquing logo design, I went back in and added all this stuff, some rules, and I started curating all these logos, and I posted some of them. I didn't post all of them. Mr. Ben Burns will make the deck available soon on a landing page. You'll be able to download this, guys, so just be patient. We're a little bit behind on some of the stuff, and you'll be able to get that. So if you want to get a peek of that, check out the Facebook page. Let's go to the Keynote deck. All right. Boys in the back, we're almost at the end of the show here. Let me go full screen. So guys, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being patient. We did get it right the third time. Hopefully you are watching this and we're not just talking to ourselves, you guys.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
341.
341?
341 when I just looked down. That's awesome, guys. Thank you.
Live?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Is it growing? Well, I mean, from last time.
Yeah.
What do we have
Every
last
time we get more and more.
All right, I think you guys like this, right? It's kind of goofy and weird, and hopefully we've mastered the format of doing live shows. You notice that there's almost like no lecture. There's no lecture. Just talking to you and having a conversation and kind of welcoming you guys into our studio. I think that's it for me, you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for participating and commenting, you guys. See you guys next time.
Later.